Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal Mr. Butter coming back at you. Today I want to get into a pair of kicks that I haven't reviewed on the channel before. Actually, I want to get into a pair of DCs. I haven't owned a pair of DCs for probably 2 decades. It was the early 2000s. I was fresh out of high school, but I don't think I've had a pair of DCs in my collection since then. I got to give a shout out to a buddy and a coworker of mine. He actually messaged me the one day at work and said, hey, are you going to grab those DC Fireball shoes? And I had no idea what he was talking about, but as soon as I took a look at them, it was something unique. I haven't had a pair of DCs on the channel yet, and most of all, it was something different than a pair of Dunks, so I went ahead and grabbed my pair from the DC website. I think they still have some sizes available, but I believe it is a pretty limited shoe. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at these Fireball DC Manteca 4 shoes. Alright, so if you're at all familiar with my channel, then you know I'm a huge fan of special packaging. I'm not sure what a DC Manteca 4 box typically looks like, but I'm sure that this is a little bit out of the norm. On the top, you see this Fireball emblem, and just below that it says Cinnamon Whiskey and Fireball over top of it, but it's on a red box. It's black print. Then on the side it says DC Shoes USA. You have a DC emblem with some flames coming off the back of it. On the bottom of the box you also get that Fireball emblem, but it says DC Shoes Company Quality Footwear surrounding that Fireball emblem. Pretty dope looking box. The tag reads Manteca 4 FB. I'm guessing that's for Fireball. This is a size 10.5 men's, and the retail price on these is $150 US. When you open the box up, underneath the lid it's black in color, and again there's some DC branding with some flames. I don't know if you can see that or not. But then we've got these 2 panels that kind of fold over, has some verbiage about a toast to the perfect shot. Sometimes you got to mix things up. I'm not going to read all that, but pretty neat looking. Underneath of the right flap, there's a little flask there, and that's got some DC Shoes branding and some Fireball branding on it. That's a cool little touch. And underneath that left flap, you've got a dust bag. This had the shoes in it, but again we get some Fireball branding and some DC Shoes branding. But I like extras like that. I think that's pretty neat. And then that special packaging is cool and everything, but check these out. I was really interested in these because I noticed in the description on the DC website that it mentioned that it used premium pig suede, and I'm a big fan of that. I'm used to getting that on shoes like New Balance and companies that are known for having really good quality. But then aside from that, I just really like the shape of these. I thought they were really interesting. I like the color of that Fireball emblem there on the tongue, kind of jumping off that red shoe. And I think they did a really good job of combining the branding. Like there on the right shoe, you can see that that has the Fireball label on it, but above that it says DC Shoe Company, and I think that's pretty cool. And then on the back of the left shoe, you can see that it has DC with some flames. And then the back of the right shoe, I don't know if that's a Fireball emblem or not, but it looks like a Fireball, so I'm assuming that it is. I really like this solid red color scheme along with the gum outsole and midsole, and then throwing in that yellow on the tongue. It kind of reminds me of like Ferrari type coloring or something like that. I think these are really interesting. The packaging is really neat, and these shoes really do have a premium feel to them. This, like I said, is my first pair of DCs that I have had in 20 years. I will spray these with some sort of like protectant. I think I have some Crep in there. That's usually what I use. But there's a lot of salt and stuff on the ground, so I won't wear these until I spray them. And that being said, I probably won't even wear them much until it warms up. I haven't skated since the early 90s, so this isn't really a shoe that I'll skate. I don't know if many people really would buy these DCs to skate. Maybe they would, but I think this is more of just like a really interesting collectible collaboration. I don't see a lot of people buying these to skate just because typically I don't think people skate shoes that have really premium materials like this. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. If you bought these and you're going to skate them, then let me know. I think that the shape of these is definitely reminiscent to like a Dunk. Even the shape of the toe box and the mud guard, it really just gives me the same vibes that like a Dunk or, you know, an SB Dunk would give me. I noticed on the mud guard, it's got 3 rows of stitching, and I'm sure that's to help them hold up better while skating. But then on the rest of the shoe, it looks like it's just got 2 rows of stitching, but I thought that was cool that the mud guard has 3 rows. And all the stitching matches this upper of the shoe. It's all that nice bold red color. On the inner half of the shoe, it looks like you have 2 holes for ventilation. Keep your foot from getting crazy hot. And a lot like Dunks, it's got perforations there on the toe box. The outsole seems really, really grippy, and it's got this really neat pill traction pattern on it. And it's also got some elements that do kind of remind you of Dunks. It's got this pivot point here in the front, and then it's got some straight lines coming off of that, and that is kind of similar to a Dunk traction pattern. But then the rest of it is just this nice pill kind of pattern, and I think that's neat looking, and it also seems really grippy. Here in the back, there's a circle, and it's got some DC branding. You can see that's all just a nice gum material. It's a little bit translucent, and then that same material carries up to the midsole, and it just looks really nice against that nice rich red color. And then we kind of have some like butterscotch colored stitching there on the midsole, and the colors go really well together. It definitely has a premium look and feel. But without a doubt, my favorite thing about these shoes is just this material that's used on the upper. A lot of times it's hard to capture the back and forth motion on camera, so I don't know if you can see that or not, but you really get a lot of movement and a lot of life out of it, and it really just feels like it's a very, very premium material. But you have that same premium material on the whole upper of the shoe. The outside of the shoe has some black DC branding. And then, like I said, on the back of the left shoe, it's got DC with some flames coming off of it. And on the back of the right shoe, it's got like a fireball emblem. It's got some fat rope style laces, very similar to what you get in SB Dunks. They're kind of like that oval shape, and they feel like they'll hold up longer than just regular laces will. And then we have a really, really padded tongue. It feels like it's like a nylon material, almost like a canvas, but it's that exact same color red, and it has red piping going along the top of it. Again, we have some fireball labels on the tongue of both shoes. And then the sock liner of the shoe is that same red color, and it seems like it's a really breathable material. I think it's actually a kind of mesh, but it feels really padded up around the sock liner, and it feels like it'll keep your foot nice and dry, keep it from getting too overheated. Then down on the insole, it's got some flames and some more DC and fireball branding. I think that's a cool touch. I was really surprised. I tried these on to make sure that they fit, and true to size is definitely recommendable. I went up a half size just because I'm in the habit of doing that with like SB Dunks, but I don't think you necessarily have to do that. I think you can go true to size and be just fine, because I have a little bit of extra room in these. But I was really surprised how soft this insole was. I went to look it up, and I think it's actually something that they make out of algae. But it really feels firm, but it's really, really squishy. So I like the feel of it. They definitely feel like they're good quality on feet. and I think it's a dope pair of kicks. I definitely thought that these looked interesting enough for me to go ahead and grab my first pair of DCs in 20 years. Let me know what you all think about these, and I appreciate y'all watching. I'll catch you on the next one.